Hello and welcome to a vMix training for beginners module 3. I remain your instructor, Gift Smart. On this module, we'll be talking on input settings. On this module, we'll be talking on input settings, general settings, position settings, layers, and multi-view. Let's proceed to our tutorial for this module. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be adding up inputs again like you have done in the previous module. As you're already used to adding the inputs, I'll just go straight to them because you're already used to them now. Okay, looking at your screen, we already have 5 inputs. I'll be making this explanation using these 5 inputs. I believe you already know how I added all these inputs. So let's proceed. I said on our tutorial today, we'll be talking on input settings, general settings, position settings, layers, and multi-views. What is the purpose for these settings? Now, these settings are just adjustments you will be making to your inputs in size, in positions, and whether you want to rotate your inputs. This is what you'll be using the settings for. So we'll be working with this to make this example. And the big question is, how do I locate my setting? How do I locate my input setting? Best to be used in this example is our input 2. You can see on the input 2 that the video does not actually fit the screen. A perfect example for this tutorial is input 2. That is one thing you would want to set some of the times. Now, I want this video to fit the screen when it goes to my live video. You can see it here that we have a blank space here and a blank space here. A perfect example, like I said, for our tutorial. What do I do to this video? Let's return it to our preview. Let's return it to our preview monitor. What do I do to fit? Okay, let me just make this here so we don't get. Let's know you're working with a preview monitor. What do I do to make this video fit? You can either locate your setting, input setting, either by double clicking on the inputs, either by, once again I'm going to show you that, either by double clicking, I just double clicked. So either by double clicking on your inputs, you see the input setting, or come down here on that same input, we see is a setting symbol here. Either you access it through there. So let's do the first example with this. Let's go through the setting here. So what did I say we are going to be doing today? We're going to be checking on the general setting, which is here. We're going to be checking the position. We're going to be checking layers and multi-view. What do I have to do in the general setting? The general setting, you have a place here called name, aspect, ratio, category. Now, the basic thing you want to know here is this. The name is just trying to let you know that that is the input you have selected. And if we check the name of your input here, you can see that it matches. You can see that it matches. Now we have aspect ratio. Aspect ratio. You click on this little arrow here. Click on this little area and you will see some options dropping out, which is normal, widescreen, atmospheric, source. Then you can now click and see. Presently, you have selected source. Let's see the difference it will make once we choose all these things. Normal, you can see how it has affected your video. Let's check on the widescreen. You can see how it has equally affected your video. Now let's check on atmospheric. You can see the changes it has made. Let's go back to source. You can now see what has been done. So from this general setting, you can see that we have not successfully removed this. Okay, now let's go to position. But I trust you have known what the general setting here is used for, the aspect ratio. You can trust you have seen. In case you input a video and it is on this format, on this size, you know that you have to come to your general setting, aspect ratio, and possibly put it in either wide screen to make sure it fits in. Let's come down to position. Now, position here we have zoom. This is used now to just magnify our videos, crop our inputs, magnify our inputs, crop them, rotate them. This is what this particular position settings is used for. Now you can see this. Now if I want to remove the dark part of the video, I can say let me come in and zoom into it. Now zooming sometimes may cut off some important information on your screen. Other times it may just be perfect for what you want. You would like to take time to check how all these things work. Let's just play around. You can see the zoom X, you can see the functions. I believe this, you don't need explanation for this, is to stretch your video, to stretch the video, bring it back to normal stretch. You can see that's the zoom X. Then let's see the zoom Y. Zoom Y now is to, you see it now. That's to stretch left to right. This is like to compress, and see this just like a compress and a contract effect on it. Let's say the pan X. So the pan X moves your video to the right. Take it to the left, takes to the left, takes to the right, it goes to the right. That's the work of the pan X. Now let's see the pan Y. Takes it up and down, up and down. So I believe with all these examples, you are actually getting the deal from this. I believe with all these examples, you're actually getting some very important information from your input setting. Let's see the crop one. You can see it crops from the left to the right. Let's say the crop Y1, it crops from up to down. Let's say the crop X2 crops X2 crops from right to left, and the crop Y2 crops from up to down. This is what you can use the position for. Above here you can see main. This is very important so as to know the input to which your effects is being added. You can see you have the main, you have 1 2 3 4 5 7 8 9 10. I will explain these numbers to you when we go to the next part of our tutorial right away. And just in case you have made settings to your input and I don't want them anymore, you can come here and reset them individually, or just quickly come to the reset all button here and press reset all, and you see that everything comes back to normal. Everything comes back to normal. Now the next thing here is layers and multi-view. Let's take a look at layers and multi-view. On the click of that, you can see the information displayed here, and you can see that we have 1 to 10 here. Who can recall what we saw over here? Who can recall what we saw over here? 1 to 10, and we have here in our layers and multi-view equal 1 to 10. So the attempt tells us that there's a possibility that you may have up to 1 to 10 inputs in your vMix, or more as the case may be. You can see number one. You can actually choose from any of the number, but for orderliness, let's go number 1. You click on the arrow here and you can see all the things you have brought into your timeline, which is we have 1 2 3 4 5. Presently we have 5 inputs here. Now what they're asking you is, which input do you want to layer or multi-view with the present input you have selected and you are working on, which is our input 2. Input 2 is presently on. What they're asking you is, which of these inputs do you want to multi-view on? Which of these you want to multi-view on the present input which we are working on, which is input 2. You can see from the one that the first one here is a music video, second here is an image, this 2 is an image, then this is a text. Okay, no, this is a text too, and this is equally a text. So from here, a better example I want us to have, let's use a text. Let's use a text. Now you see, you click on it, and that input automatically comes to this input 2. We selected input 5, and it has automatically come into input 2. Now, what this allows you to do, this is practically a multi-view. What this allows you to do is this. This input 5 has automatically been stuck and been sticked to input 2. So therefore, whatever changes is being done to input 2 will affect input 5 on this screen. Let's quickly take a look at what I am talking about. Now you can see that input 5 has been automatically added to a multi-viewed or overlaid in input 2, even though input 5 has actually not been selected from our timeline. You can see input 5 here, which was not selected and is still on our input 2. Now, I believe with the knowledge you have gotten from the positioning of your text and the rest, you can actually see how to position your texts to where you want them to be, Okay, now quickly I'll only show you how to edit your text like this. In the previous video we had something done about that too. So but now I'll just show you. Right click on it, title editor pops up, you click on it, and it will take you to the edit panel of that. You can then type whatever you want to type. You come here, I don't need this for now, let's remove it, I don't need it for now. So you can see that it's gone. You can then do what you want to do. Okay, now I have actually multi-viewed this, or I've layered, I have overlaid, or I've added this as a layer to input 2. How can I possibly make changes to this? Yes, let's go to this video again. Let's use this one, double click like I said, then now come back to your position. Now this is where this becomes very important. This becomes very important because you are no longer working on the main video, which is input 2. You want to work on this text input you added here. So you come right here. Now you will have to reselect and not add you will not add main anymore. Now you are going to choose one. Somebody may be asking me, but we multi-viewed input 5 on input 2, so why are we choosing 1? You are choosing 1 because it is the first input you have multi-viewed with input 2, so you are going to choose 1. Now once you choose 1, whatever you do here will not affect the main video, which is input 2. It will rather affect only input 5, which is the first multi-view you have on input 2. So let's try to reduce this and position it properly. You can see that it is only affecting this now. It's only affecting this now. You can see this now perfectly working. So you can now say, I want to rearrange this to where I want. Okay, let me just give you something very easy. You can come here, pick on it, left click on your mouse, a long press, and you can actually just move it to wherever you want to move it to. Let's keep it here and let's go back there. This is fine and good. You have succeeded to reposition that text. Let's come back and say, okay, fine, I don't want it to be message, I want it to be something like live, so that's to be like I am going live. See why I said it is very important for us to have this knowledge. Let's go back now. I believe you will be able to edit your text, but I'm still going to do it now. You right click on that input, click edit text, and you come back here and say let's make it live. You surely want to change the color. We said before in the earlier one, we want to change it on our earlier tutorial. We want to change it to red. Let it go red and say what? Okay. You can now see that it is red, and you have it there like you are actually doing a live program. You have it there like you're actually doing a live program. Go to your businesses, go to your offices, and make good practice, and I assure you, you'll become good at what you do. God bless. Till we'll see you again in our next module. Please be very, very practical.